0.65, right? So as usual, we have to ask the question whether this concordance index value 0.5 for A and B is greater than strong concordance or not. It is no. The answer is no. Is it greater than weak concordance value? Answer is yes. We have taken weak concordance value as 0.5. I have already discussed about this. And in case of discordance index, the value is 1. Threshold value of strong discordance is taken as 0.7. Is it less than that? No. So what is the decision? Strong, weak, or no outranking? We will say no outranking. Because although it is weakly outranks B, because for strong outranking it is no, but for weak outranking it is yes. So it is weakly outranking with respect to concordance, but it is not outranking with respect to discordance. So this ELECTRE method is like that only. Even if in case of concordance A outranks B, but discordance can veto that decision, penalty that decision, if the discordance index value doesn't is not less than the threshold value of D. Threshold value of D means strong D. Okay. So no. For the next case, C concordance index between B and A value is 0.5. Threshold value for strong is 0.65. Then no. Threshold value for weak is 0.5. So it is equal. So it is yes. For discordance, the value is 0.5 and this threshold value is 0.7. So is it less than that? Yes. So B weakly outranks A. And none of the condition has been met for the other combinations. So all the answers have become no, 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 no. So this is the strong and weak outranking. Next and last step is distillation. One is ascending, one other is descending. Descending means top to down approach or best to worst approach, and ascending means worst to best approach or down to up approach. So let us go to the example straight away, so that way you will understand more. You see, this is result as per descending distillation. So this is the same table, that is this one. This table I have just copy pasted into this table. I think you can understand that. Okay. So now after I have copy pasted, this is the decision actually. Let me use a lighter color. This is the decision actually. Correct. This is the set. This is the concordance of value, threshold value, question, threshold value weak, question, and this is the discordance, value of the discordance index, and so on. Right, so there is no outranking. So the score assigned is to A is 0, score assigned to B is 0, everybody is 0. And score assigned to C doesn't matter because we are comparing only between A to B. So in case of weak outranking between B and A, you see B weakly outranks A, as I have discussed earlier. So as I have discussed earlier, B weakly outranks A. So B is given a score of +1 and A is given a -1 because B weakly outranks A, but it has outranks A. So B wins. So that is why +1 is assigned to B and -1 to A. So for all other cases, we are forced to assign zeros because there is no outranking between the conditions, between the alternatives for these comparisons. Like for example, B and C, no outranking, so A is not required, but for B and C we have given 0. No outranking means zero. Score is zero. If there is outranking, the alternative which is outranking the other alternative gets +1 and the other alternative gets -1 because it was outranked by that alternative. So accordingly, we assign scores, and when all the scores are assigned, you see total score of A becomes -1, total score of B becomes +1, total score of C becomes 0. Now, which is the highest score? This is a descending distillation, so best to worst. Which is the highest score? That will be assigned to class 1. Second highest score, class 2. Third highest score, class 3. Best is class 1, worst is class 3. So accordingly, if I compare, you see B has the best value +1, so it was assigned to class 1. C is not best, not worst, it is in between, so it was assigned the class 2 because it has a score of 0. The total score will show you which class to assign. And A has a score of -1. Certainly it is negative, and it is the second best value, sorry, third best value, because within -1, +1, and 0, +1 is the best value, 0 is the second best value, and -1 is the last best value. So class 3 is assigned to variable A or alternative A. Now, as per the ascending distillation, as per the ascending distillation, what will happen now? As for the ascending distillation, you see same thing, but the worst will get the worst value. That means score assigned to A is -1. This is the worst. That means change the color now to red again. This is the worst value. This is the best value, right? So in case of worst ascending distillation, worst to best is followed. Sorry. In case of descending distillation, best to worst is follow. Yes, I have told you the right thing. In case of ascending distillation, worst to best follows. Bottom up follows. So worst is which one? Can you say which one is worst? In this case, what will happen is the worst class will be assigned the worst value or worst ranked alternative as per the score will assign the class 1. So A is -1, which is the worst thing, so it will be assigned class 1. And B is +1, which is the best thing, so it will be assigned class 3. And C is in between them, so it will be assigned class 2. Right? So what happened is, this is the worst class. I have written here in not correct. This will be the worst class, and this will be the best class. But in this case, this is the best class. Indeed, this is the best class because it has the highest score, this alternative B. And this alternative A has the lowest score, -1. In between them, alternative C. So the best class is assigned class 1, worst class is assigned class 3, and between is class 2. So best class is class 1, right? So best to worst, top to down button, right? But when we are doing the ascending distillation, we will assign the class 1, which indicates the class 1, first class, to the worst. So to the worst position alternative. So worst positioned alternative with respect to score is A here. Then next, little better than A is B, C, 0 score, and the best here is actually with respect to score is B. But here, as per the rule, class 1 will be assigned the worst very alternative A, and the class 3 will receive the best alternative. So don't get confused. First, assign score based on outranking. Strong outranking will get more score compared to weak outranking, and if there is no outranking, just give 0. Okay. After you assign score to all the alternative for all the situations. Situation means all the comparisons. Okay, A versus B, B versus A, and so on. You add them for each of the alternative. Now, with respect to score, you rank them. The highest rank get rank 1, followed by the other alternatives. And the worst, the alternative with the worst score among all the alternative get the lowest rank. In our case, it is 3. Now, when you are arranging them in with respect to the ascending distillation, the worst ranked alternative will get the best class, that is class 1, and the best ranked alternative will get the worst class, that is class 3. So that is why it is ascending. It is coming from worst, which is the class 1, to the best, which is the class 3. But in case of descending distillation, a normal thing follows. The best alternative is assigned the class 1. Worst alternative is assigned the class 3. So here this class is actually representing that we from class 1 is the best, class 3 is the worst, so we are going from best to worst. So after that, if you compare this ascending and descending distillation, what you find is, in case of the descending distillation, which is a normal scenario, because the alternative with the maximum score gets the best rank and also the best class, that is the class 1. That same alternative has got the worst, sorry, has got the worst class in case of ascending distillation, which is worst to best. Means worst class means here class 3. Class 1 is the best with respect to class, right? But in case of descending distillation, we are following from best to worst. So the best will be that one which has the highest score. But in case of descending worst to best, the best alternative with highest score will get the worst class. That is the difference. If it is 2, if the same alternative get the worst class, worst class, class 3 for ascending distillation, and best class, class 1 for descending distillation, then that alternative outranks the other. And the alternative which is in between them, for both descending and ascending distillation, it gets class 2, which is the medium, right? Which is the medium, neither good, neither best. So it cannot outrank the class 1, outrank the alternative which gets the best class for descending and worst class for ascending. So it cannot outrank that, and it can outrank that class which has get the worst class in descending and best class in ascending, right? So that way, uh, this alternative become is placed into the middle. So, uh, so that is the way electric spots the most preferred alternative. So you see, the entire method is very easy except the last two step, which is a little bit confusing. So ascending distillation and descending distillation. Here you just remember, in case of ascending distillation, we are going from worst to best. That means worst is assigned the best class. Here class 1 is represent the best class and class 3 represents the worst class and class 2 is in between them. So in case of ascending, the worst scored alternative is assigned the best class and the best scored alternative is assigned the worst class. But in case of descending distillation, the situation is just opposite. The best scored alternative is assigned the best class, worst scored alternative is assigned the worst class. This is two is different. And what we check is that if this is exactly the case, the best, the alternative which has the which become the member of the best class in case of descending distillation and the member of the worst class in case of the ascending distillation, that alternative wins the game and becomes the most preferred alternative for the decision maker. In this case, our case, it is the alternative A or location A. Thank you. This is what you know as ELECTRE 2. If you have any question, you can ask in the comment. I'll be happy to answer them. But more or less, this is ELECTRE 2. It is a little bit longer. The method is a bit longer, I will say. And let us still recapitulate the entire procedure again. Start, define alternative and criteria. We defined it. Set criteria weights. We have given the criteria weights. Here you see. This is the criteria weight. We just assigned it. And alternatives are ranked as per their values. And for the criteria, if the criteria is beneficiary, then we ranked it the best as the best rank, first rank, and so on. And if it is a penalty criteria, cost criteria, the lowest value is assigned the highest rank, right? So after then we have converted them into magnitude, because as you know, the rank as a magnitude doesn't represent the real picture, so we convert them into its equivalent magnitude.